Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet and Pokémon Legends Z-A. That was Pokémon's Gen 9, which we all assume is very close to its official end with the possible announcement of Gen 10 in a little over a month. Looking back at those games, I found myself remembering all of the fan theories leading up to Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet, the ones about the powers of Terrapagos. It all made so much sense, but then we were all wrong. But hey, I'm notsoAceTrainer, and what if we were right? Let's get into it. In order for this theory to make sense, there are three places in time that we have to visit. The time before we knew what was going on with Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet, the time we actually found out, and then the Pokémon Legends Z-A DLC. And so let's stop by the first one and talk about our fun theories. We didn't know what Terrapagos was for a long time, but we knew that something, the disc Pokémon, was responsible for the strange things happening in Area Zero. Paradox Pokémon, something we had never seen before, were all over the place and they just didn't make sense. They looked like Pokémon we knew, but they weren't the Pokémon we knew. They had strange names and seemed taken right from a fiction book. They represented the dreams of Professor Sada, of Professor Turo so well that that's what they seemed. Something taken from someone's dreams, someone's imagination. For a long time, and for some, myself included, that was the theory. The disc Pokémon, the one responsible for the terrestrial phenomenon, was somehow able to turn dreams into reality. Sure, the AI professor told us that, they came from the time machine, but there was no evidence of their ancestral lives, there was no fossil evidence, nothing mentioned in their Pokédex entries. And they called it a time machine, but there was no evidence that it was one as well. It was weird, it made no sense, but until the release of the second part of the DLC, the Indigo Disc, we couldn't really question it as that's what the game told us. But that's also when we arrived to our second stop. After our visit to Kitakami, we had the chance to go to the Blueberry Academy and once again go down the Great Crater of Paldea in order to find the hidden treasure that we now knew was named Terrapagos. Then, after all of that, something happened. If we visited the Crystal Pool in Kitakami after being done with the main story, we would start a cutscene involving us and either Professor Sada or Professor Duro, the actual ones, not their AI version. There, they finally spilled the tea. We weren't dealing with time travel per se, we were dealing with timeline stuff. Terra Energy allowed us to access other timelines or other points in a timeline. And there was one where those Pokémon existed, be it the future one or a past one or even a different present. And it also explained how the professors were able to communicate with Heath back in the day because they simply bridged those timelines or those points in that timeline. But that doesn't mean that the professors accomplished their goal of going either to the future or the past exactly how they imagined. It's just that, since the professors wanted to reach those places, those points in time so much, they assumed that that was what they were doing. Through their obsession, they didn't try to explain it further, they just accepted it and then died, supposedly. Then, after this, with the announcement of Pokémon Legends Z-A, 2024 was all about complaining that we had nothing, and 2025 was all about its release, so no attention was given to poor old Scarlet and Violet. And so we played the new Legends game, it was fun, and then we reached the third and final place we need to visit for this theory, the very grindy DLC, Mega Dimension. In the Mega Dimension, the main antagonist is Darkrai, who, through being exposed to the Mega power leaking out of Ange, was able to Mega evolve and create a different dimension, Hyperspace Lumiose, where people's dreams turned real, and that, through the distortions that started to open, let legendary Pokémon, strange items, and even regular Pokémon, all created in dreams, cross into the real world after we caught them. Despite this seeming like a novel concept, it isn't the first time that the world of dreams is treated as a different dimension, as in Gen 5 the same thing happened with the dream world. Pokemon go in, they dream, and then we get items and Pokemon that become real after they cross that barrier between the dream world and the Pokemon world, that controlled distortion. Then there's something else. Dimensions and timelines are different, but they aren't that different in the Pokemon world, at least I don't think they are. For example, what do you consider the Ultra Ruin? It is Hawali's city, but things happen differently. It's a different dimension, that's what the Ultra Space worlds are, but it is the same as our dimension, just with a different set of events. A dimension is a place. A timeline is the order of events and the events themselves of a place. I think both are referring to the same thing in the Pokemon world. Then with that in mind, we can assume that Terra Energy, since it can access different timelines, it means it can also access different dimensions, because what is a different timeline? What is a place where those Pokemon, the Paradox Pokemon, exist, if not a different dimension? And if dreams are a dimension, then that means that that place can be accessed without Darkrai or Mega Darkrai getting overwhelmed with Mega Power. But even if you believe that Pokemon dreams are one thing and that's the dream world, and people's dreams are another thing and can only exist like that in hyperspace because of Darkrai, and so they are tied to this specific moment in time, well, the events and the lead up to the events of both Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet and Legends Z-A happened at around the same time. The Pokemon timeline is weird, and I plan on talking about it eventually, but the events of Scarlet and Violet and the events of Pokémon Legends Z-A seem like the latest events to happen in the series. It is mentioned that Leon wasn't a champion already in Z-A, and in the Academy's library, you can find Sonia's book, which she writes only after the Sword and Shield main game. That means that while Darkrai was gathering Mega Power and slowly beginning to reach the point where it could sever the line between Lumiose City and Hyperspace Lumiose, meaning that it wasn't capable yet of creating distortions, but the dimension was already there, the professors were, each in their timeline or their dimension, performing their experiments. So, while the hyperspace, that pocket of dreams, already existed, the professors could already reach into different timelines. They could already bridge their location with the other timeline or dimension that they wanted to reach, or simply that they could reach. Is it too much to assume that their own dreams were also caught by Darkrai, since while they weren't in Lumiose City, they could be in touching distance of the hyperspace? Honestly, I don't think it is. Their dreams could have turned real simply because Darkrai's power made them real. While people in Lumiose City dreamed about Mega Evolution and legendary Pokemon from Hoenn, those two dreamed about their obsession with ancient or futuristic Pokemon, their obsession with the Scarlet and Violet books. And since Terrapagos can access different points in the timeline and was already active back in the day with the expedition, it could have been that the same happened there, which could explain the differences between the Great Tusk and Iron Threads in the book and the actual Great Tusk and Iron Threads. It's the same concept, the same idea, but different minds obsessed about them. Different minds dreamed about them. Is this a bit of a crazy theory? Absolutely, but does it make me happy that in the end I was able to somehow connect the events of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, Pokémon Legends Z-A, and also our own fan theories? Absolutely as well. I think Pokémon is amazing, of course, but I think that the things we do as a community, the ideas we create, our speculation, our theories, make it all so much special. But what do you think? Are you still down with the dream/imagination theory? Let me know down below. And now, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. But before I go, I want to thank my YouTube members Dash Plays, Good Old Deo, and Shun Speak, and my Twitch subscribers Zanes222, Anubis Here, the Dr. Joe, and Lazarix for going the extra mile. Thank you so much for all of your support.